in Oakville, and Natalie Thomas, she's outside. Natalie, you were planning on heading closer out, but because of the lightning, you've had to stay a little bit closer to home.
Exactly, Nadine. I did see one strike of lightning, and we decided to stay a little bit closer to the building on this one. And actually, I don't even need my umbrella right now. It is quite windy. It rained for about 3 or 4 minutes, quite a heavy downpour, and then it passed. And I know on the radar you've been looking at this. The cell almost broke up over Oakville. It's much heavier, the rain to our south and around Hamilton. A lot of people calling the storm line to report black skies and heavy amounts of rain. And also to our north, you were talking about cottage country with severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. So if you do see a thunderstorm in the Oakville, Burlington area, it won't be very long-lived. And then if you're in southwestern Ontario, the storms have really passed. So we focus now heading east, Nadine, as the thunderstorms continue along this trough to push east across southern Ontario.
With some gusty winds, Natalie, and some hail. And from the looks of that camera, I can say yes, we are feeling those winds.
Yeah, it's windy, Nadine, but I wouldn't say if anyone's hoping that these thunderstorms will get rid of all this heat and humidity. It's still extremely humid out here. You step outside and you can feel the moisture on your skin. But these thunderstorms are rolling through very quickly. 10 minutes ago, I was standing out here with an umbrella with pouring rain. Let me show you what the skies are looking like to the east as the thunderstorms continue to roll east. Dark storm clouds in the skies. And that's what a lot of people in Ontario have been talking about today, the dark storm clouds. Now, if the camera can shift a little bit and point further to the west, you are going to notice that there is bright sunshine. A lot of people have actually called the storm line. One woman in particular in Kincardine saying, you know what, there's a thunderstorm, and a half an hour later she said there's beautiful sunshine. It is absolutely a beautiful evening here in Kincardine. So I think that would be the point as we send things back inside to the studio. These thunderstorms are quick movers. Once they move through, the sunshine returns, and then we can do it all again tomorrow with the risk of thunderstorms still across Ontario.
And the heat, yes, thank you so much, Natalie, because the heat will be sticking around. A couple of days of wet weather still across the prairies.
Yes, Nadine, and for people following this story, we have the best tweets and the pictures of the flood conditions in Manitoba and Saskatchewan on our webpage, theweathernetwork.com. It's called In Pictures. If you find it on our webpage there, it'll be on the homepage, and we're in the process of updating it with the most recent tweets. But if you go to it even right now as we speak, you'll just see, and April, can we get this full? Perfect, thank you. You'll see people literally canoeing down their streets. You'll see hydro wires down. You'll see trees knocked over. People out camping. Look at that one there. People out camping and then being submerged underwater because of all of this rain. So that's one story we're following. And Nadine, the other one, and we have to address this because it's the most populated area in the country, there are thunderstorms right now rolling through southern and central Ontario.
And of course, it's a Pride parade that happened today across much of Ontario. That front will no doubt be firing off thunderstorms on Canada Day.
Definitely. We've been talking about that all weekend. You know, Risk Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday's going to be the big day. So if you have been up at the cottage and you're thinking, should I come home on Monday night? Should I wait for Tuesday? Tuesday looks to be the most severe yet. So if you want to beat the traffic, maybe Monday's the day to come home from the cottage. But let's shift to our other big weather story. So number one, active weather in Ontario. Number two, the flooding that continues across the eastern prairies. If you head to our website, theweathernetwork.com, in the news section, there's a section called In Pictures, and our news writers have just updated it with the most compelling photos from Twitter. So these are the most recent photos you're going to see. You can see in this photo right here, I know it's a little bit small there, but oh good, you can see that on the screen. This one here showcasing just the cloud cover over the water, and you can see storm clouds. I'm actually going to walk to the computer and do it by hand so that you get a better picture of it. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you because this is the photo I wanted to show you there. So much water, Nadine, that the roads, you can see here, washing away some of the roads. This is an ongoing issue, and I wanted to bring up a tweet from our chief meteorologist, Chris Scott. He sent it out last night, and he was saying for many farmers, this is going to wipe out their crops. So we're only getting up toward July 1st, and knowing that the whole summer is yet ahead, Nadine, it's a really sad thought. To put it all into perspective, this is some people's livelihoods, and crops are completely washed out.
Yes, certainly, and that's something that affects not only farmers, but been sending in pictures and video to our website, theweathernetwork.com, and certainly the scenes look very scary.
This one in particular, Nadine, it's kind of scary, almost out of a horror movie. Let me showcase this one. This is from Lisa in Kenora, Saskatchewan. Lisa says, flooding in Kenora in the worst place it could flood, close to 75 millimeters of rain so far. That is a cemetery, and you can only imagine the different issues and challenges associated with a flooded out cemetery. There's one other photo that I'm going to show you. I thought that was going to stay up. Sorry about that, April. I'm going to scroll down the page to this one right here. And this would be adorable. These kids in Brandon, Manitoba, taking advantage of the flood in their front yard. Mom said, you know what, they're just having fun with it. They're out in a canoe and enjoying, now that Nadine's school is officially out for the summer. But this is a really serious situation, obviously, for farmers in the region. A lot of people saying this is the end of their crops for the year.
Yeah, certainly so. And this will certainly be reaching us on...
Our Stormwatch coverage continues here at the Weather Network. Nadine will join us in just a moment with more details on the flooding that continues across the eastern prairies. But I'm outside of our National Weather Center here in Oakville, Ontario, as the sun begins to set. We had a thunderstorm roll through here about an hour ago, lasted about 5 minutes. I know that there are still some severe thunderstorm warnings. We've been following one south through Cottage Country, another that is pushed through Hamilton. So certainly bringing heavy rain, thunder, lightning. More people in Ontario talking about the dark skies more than anything else. But once these thunderstorms push through with the trough, that's it. You get a dry period through the night, and then we fire it all back up again tomorrow with another trough, and then again for Tuesday. It's an interesting weather pattern that's set up across southern Ontario. One trough, two trough, three, and then the cold front. So Nadine, we're still focusing on Tuesday being the really big day for potentially severe storms across southern and central, even eastern Ontario. I don't know about you, but Ottawa, for Canada Day, it is going to feel like 40. We have the potential for severe storms, and that's the largest Canada Day party and celebration across the country. So I think all eyes are going to be on Ottawa for Tuesday.
And Natalie, this has resulted in flooded streets, flooded basements, trees coming down because the soil is saturated, and coming down on power lines as well.
Exactly. A number of power outages still being reported right across Manitoba and into Saskatchewan. One thing we haven't talked a lot about, flight delays and cancellations at the airport. And it looks like the airport, Richardson in Winnipeg, is being impacted the most. It's one of the larger airports in the entire country, and it's impacting a lot of Canadians because flights are being canceled to Vancouver, to Toronto, to Ottawa, to Montreal. So this is their website. And if we just take a look at some cancellations, I mean, in the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock hour, the WestJet flight to Toronto canceled, Air Canada to Vancouver canceled, to Regina canceled, Toronto canceled, Edmonton canceled. So you get the idea. There are so many cancellations, if not delays, at the airport. If you are trying to fly home to somewhere or fly into Winnipeg later tonight, you are looking at an extended trip, Nadine, because this is going to be an ongoing story. The runways are just too wet right now. But there are also thunderstorms we have to start taking into account in Ontario.
Yes, and
Okay, how pretty is that? They say a pink sky at night, sailor's delight, right? So we're all anticipating, by the way, I'm in Oakville outside of our National Weather Center. You may be looking outside of your home in southern Ontario thinking, oh good, this means that tomorrow, Monday, is going to be a really nice day. Now let's talk about pink sky at night and where that comes from. Generally, you see the pink sky at night after a storm. So storms push to the east, and then behind it, the sun reflects as it's setting. You get the reflection from the storm, and you get the pink sky. And usually, once we see storms roll through, often we get high pressure coming in, so the next day is going to be nice. Unfortunately, here in southern Ontario, we kind of have storm after storm after storm. So yesterday a trough moved through, today a trough moves through, and we got all of those storms, and we're still seeing those storms. Another trough is set to move through for tomorrow. So just like today, it was definitely not a washout of a day, but the potential is there with the heat and humidity in the passing trough to see more thunderstorms firing up. So Nadine, is tomorrow going to be a sailor's delight? Part of the day will be, I think. Part of
the day. At least the weekend hasn't been a complete washout.
No.
But like you say, Natalie, once we get into the afternoon, a lot of that daytime heating, and with the trough, we get them firing up. But Natalie, you know, off the top, we saw that video there from the Winnipeg region. But, you know, of course, this is, you know, the Canada Day weekend. Folks are out camping, and they're hoping for a nice weekend. But unfortunately, plans are spoiled.
Exactly. And while we're on that topic, we're going to show some camping pictures. That's one of the biggest stories to go along with the actual weather story. This is a huge weekend. A lot of families prepare for the Canada Day long weekend all year. They build up for their big family holiday. There are so many cancellations at the airport in Winnipeg, at Richardson Airport. So imagine that, you know, you wait all year, you save up for a big family vacation, and your flight gets canceled, so you can't go on vacation, or it gets delayed a day. But as Nadine was saying, a lot of people spend time camping. This is from Joel on Twitter, and you can find this photo or these photos on our website, theweathernetwork.com. This is Dauphin, Manitoba, and you can see tents literally flooded out. You can see garbage leaving one of those campsites just because the water's picking everything up and floating it away. For more details, please head to our website, theweathernetwork.com. Nadine, we have so many great photos to share with everyone. But this isn't the only story that we're following. There are two major stories. The other one would be thunderstorms in not only Alberta, which you have the radar, but also in Ontario as well.
diminished. We're just basically getting into the steadier rain right now, Natalie, from Red Deer down Highway 2 toward the Calgary area.
With us, it hasn't been just heavy amounts of rain, anywhere from 100 to 200 millimeters of rainfall, by the way, and counting as it continues. But it's also been really strong winds knocking down tree branches onto power lines, and hence the power outages. Now, sometimes when you talk about storms, and often we see heroes emerging, and I want to share with you one of those stories. We like good news stories, don't we? And this was found on Twitter. This is from Derek, and Derek said, "My friend's swimming," he's setting up the photos I'm about to show you, "for stranded foxes after 8 inches of rain near the Wellwyn area." And you can see this. I'm wondering if we can bring this full screen, Cassie, so people can get a better look of what's going on here. But basically, these friends saw foxes out drowning in the water. And you can see them swimming back in that one picture on the top corner there, swimming back with the fox, and at the end, a happy ending, the fox survived. Do you love that? I love that as well. If you have pictures or video that you'd like to share with us, upload everything to our website, theweathernetwork.com. I'm trying to get a hold of Derek, Nadine, because I want to know more about how and why they decided to save the foxes. But we've also seen some pretty active weather across Ontario as well, with some watches and warnings.
Yes, thank you so much, Natalie. Those are so cute. Definitely we want to get the rest of that story, the full story there. Well, Natalie could be into the potential for seeing some of these strong storms moving through the area. Right,
and Nadine, earlier today, and you and I were here for this, there were thunderstorms rolling through southern Ontario, but a lot of people now talking about the pink sky out there. Let me showcase one photo in particular. It's from Matt Grinter. He's one of our meteorologists here at the Weather Network. He's in Brampton. He said a beautiful sunset, and that is what a lot of people are showcasing on Facebook and Twitter across southern and central Ontario right now. So let's talk about that weather lore. Pink sky or red sky at night, sailor's delight. Usually what happens when you get the pink sky at night, when a storm pushes to the east, most storms move from west to east, that's the light reflecting as the sun sets on the backside of the storm. And so usually that weather lore or that old wives' tale holds true, because storms pass and generally we get high pressure moving in behind and we have a nice beautiful day the following day. Except in the case of tomorrow, we have yet another storm system moving through. So Nadine, we're not looking at the best Monday in southern Ontario. It's not going to be a washout of a day, but the potential is there for more thunderstorms.
Yes, Natalie, and I guess the upside to that will be tomorrow storms will move to the east, so we may see another red sky
another
on Monday night.
And then it still won't be true, because more storms for Tuesday.
Yeah. Exactly, so and could be some fireworks from Mother Nature as well. But anyway, that is still a couple of days away.
Our biggest concern is all of the flooding impacting the eastern prairies. We're talking about anywhere from 100 to 200 millimeters of rain that has already fallen. There is still rain coming down right now, and we'll be taking a look at the radars coming up throughout the show, but this low pressure system continues to spin. We're finding the most fascinating pictures and video on social media, Twitter in particular. If we could bring this picture full, I know it's hard to see because it's a bit smaller, it was taken vertically, but that's someone trying to ride their bike through the flooding. Cassidy sent this tweet out saying, "Look at this champ. Yes, that is a rider's flag attached to his bike." Hashtag Regina Flood. A lot of pictures and video like this one of people out, I don't want to say embracing the flooding conditions, but just doing their best to get around on bikes, on canoes. But we have to say, whoever was taking that picture from the car, we don't recommend driving your vehicle through floodwaters. Anything could happen. And the motto, Nadine, that is usually given out is don't drown, turn around. So I don't think biking is necessarily that dangerous in the floodwaters. We don't recommend that people drive through flooded out streets.
Yes, and the thing that we've got to be mindful of as well is that there have been some down power lines, and of course with live power lines submerged in the water, you can't see it, but certainly you're putting yourself at risk for being electrocuted. So we want everyone to be safe, stay indoors as best you can. I guess folks in BC on Tuesday will be feeling almost as hot and sticky as folks in Ontario today.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because I can take, Human X values around 31, 32, but Tuesday in Ontario, it's going to be feeling like 40. Is that too much for Nadine? Nadine likes heat and humidity, so she's probably going to say, no, I love it. It's going to be extremely humid, and that will increase the risk for thunderstorms. While we're talking about Ontario and the humidity, this was taken by Matt Grinter, one of our meteorologists here at the Weather Network. A beautiful pink sky at night. And you know what they say, a pink sky or red sky at night? Sailor's delight. Well, why this happens, why the weather lore came about, when storms push east on the backside as the sun sets, the sun reflects through the backside of the storm, and that's why generally we see the pink sky at night after a storm, and usually a nice day follows a stormy day, except in this case, because we have the potential for more storms in Ontario tomorrow, and again for Tuesday. We will have